Hello class, and welcome to maybe my next to the last lecture, maybe two more after this, but we are in the final 3 weeks of class, and I wanted to go over the schedule with you and make sure that everybody knows what's going to be happening and what you need to prepare for. So let's take a look at what we need to prepare for. So let me get this slide moving here. There we go. So Module 9 has iRVision in it, and I was told that Joe only got one robot working with iRVision, and honestly, I haven't had time to check all the robots out and get this working. I'm going to try to, before the end of class, at least to do a demo with it. We don't have any labs set up for that, so mainly Module 9 is just information for you, and there's no test or no graded activities there, and that replaced the field trip module that we can't do right now because of COVID. So modules 10 through 13 then include studies on RoboGuide and some labs, and so that's what we're going to be focusing on, because in the Fanuc certification exam there's several questions about RoboGuide, and that's what got me. I passed the exam, but that was my lowest module because I just didn't take time to study all the terminology and exactly where you click on different things in there. I know how to use RoboGuide, but not to the extent of some of the questions they asked me. It still didn't kill me and keep me from passing the exam, so don't fret about it. But if you go through all these modules and look at the training slides that they have for you, you should be okay with that. And then Module 14 is Robot Mastering. Due to our time constraints, it's probably going to be the same as iRVision. There is some graded activities here as far as a test, but I don't think we'll be doing any lab work on this. It'll be more for informational stuff. So the labs that we're going to be concentrating on is RoboGuide, and it's pretty important because if you actually got out and was doing this for a living, you could create and test programs on RoboGuide before you actually loaded them into the robots. So it's a good thing to know. And certification exams, SACA 216 is this coming week, and prepare for that as much as you can. Like I said, this was probably the hardest test of the three because there's some generic stuff and some things on there that I don't consider industry standards, and it could be questions about, what whoever made these tests up thought was the correct answer, but there's no industry standard that you could verify that with. And so I tried to come up with enough material and a short practice quiz for you to help you prepare for that, and I just wish you the best on that test. I think you'll do well on it, but just be advised that it's harder than the first SACA test we did, and it's harder than actually the Fanuc robot operator test that you're going to take. So the Fanuc robot operator, you have to sign up for that over at the Learning Center, and that should be available to you to sign up. If you have any problems with that, let me know. But you should be able to sign up, and have that scheduled for the last week of class, but of course you can take it whenever you want. And I notice my volume's a little high here. Let me cut. How'd that? Yeah, that cut it back. Maybe not too much. So now there it goes again. So if you study the operator manual that we had, and let me call that up here. Where is it? We'll go back to modules. And I'm over here on my other screen. Just a second. I'll drag this over. So if you go over to modules, and let me go to student view so I can show you what it looks like. And so we go down here to the very bottom of your module page, and you've got this handling tool, operation, and programming. And that's what we studied in the first class, the first 8 weeks. So if you go through all of these again to, reacquaint yourself with it and fill in some blanks, maybe stuff you missed the first time through, you do all this and take the test, you should be good to go for that Fanuc test. There are 151 questions on it, so be prepared. But the only thing that's on the test that's not covered in this material is RoboGuide. So that's why we're going to spend the next 2 weeks doing some stuff in RoboGuide to hopefully prepare you for the test. So that is that. Let me go back out and restart my slideshow. So lab final, that's up next. We won't have a lab final because our midterm actually covered everything that would be on the lab final. And so just another week out to give you a lab final wouldn't serve any purpose other than just being some more busy work, maybe giving you more experience on the robot. But so I'm not really going to have a graded lab final. So the final week of class, we won't meet for labs. We're going to do 2 more weeks of labs because you've got the final exam to finish that week and the Fanuc robot operator test and any other missed assignments and so you'll have time to catch all that up for the final week of class. And we'll look at the calendar here and see when that is. So again, no labs on the final week of class. And so here's the layout for the next weeks. We have be RoboGuide labs Monday and Wednesday this week after you take the SACA C216 exam. And it'll be a short night because the 2 labs that we have won't take you very long. And you'll probably be, now why did that do that? You'll probably be brain tired from taking the exam anyway. So we'll do a good intro to the RoboGuide labs. And then the following week, the 3rd and the 5th of May, we'll do more RoboGuide labs. So next 2 weeks. So now here's the deal on the RoboGuide labs. If you want to do those at home and submit them, then you don't have to come into the lab to do those as well. The only problem is the way that we have to do them at home. And I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. So next 2 weeks, RoboGuide labs, and the final week you'll do your Fanuc certification exam and the final exam. So no labs that week. So RoboGuide at home. So if you want to do and even if you don't complete the labs at home, but you want to get on there and study it and learn how and then come into the school and do the labs, that is perfectly okay too. I'll be there again beginning at 3 o'clock every lab day. So you can come in anytime after that and work on the labs. And we do those on the computers. Okay, so I know some of you already use the remote student desktop, but if you don't know how, I loaded the sheet on there to tell you how to do that, and I'll go over that here in just a minute. So you can access the student remote desktop, and you may complete the labs at home and submit a copy of your work cell. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. I think it'll work. It's just a little squirrely. If anyone knows how to, if you're on the student remote desktop, and how that you could save a file to the jump drive at your home computer where you're connected to, and not the computer in the school. So I couldn't figure out how to do that. But anyway, let's look at this RoboGuide demo. So with the remote student desktop, and here it is. You have this. It's available for you in the modules. It's in module 10. I put this in here, and you access this console, and then you use the SAML authentication, not the login there. So again, I know a number of you have already done this, so I don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but if you need help with it, let me know and I'll help you. So what I did was set up a just a shortcut on my desktop and put it down there in a bar, so when I can log in here. And when you do this, then when you log in, of course, it sends you a file here. Let me drag this over so you can see it. Now it's not going to let me. Okay, there it goes. Its computer's lagging out there a little bit. So it sets up that, it sends you this script each time. You have to do that each time that you log into this. So if you just save it like that, and then it, let me see, I'll drag this over here. No, it's not going to work. So then you just open that file that it sent you, and for some reason it's not letting me drag that bottom over. If you just click on that file down at the bottom of Google Chrome, then it opens and lets you go in there. So where'd we go here? So then it pops up with that. And I've been using there we go. JCAA163, that first computer right there. Now, I was on there the other day, and I logged on to one, and there was somebody else on it too. I thought it wouldn't let two people log in, but it didn't, because they had a test open, and it was a different class, and the mouse was moving around, so I got out of there really fast. But so anyway, I'm on that client there, and double click, and you get the old iVTech login here. And don't tell anybody my password. And let me start over again. My password is ... So, but don't tell anybody. We get logged in here, and it's going pretty fast. Sometimes you get on here, if there's a lot of people on, I think it gets pretty laggy. So if you can pick your times early in the day or later in the evening, you might be better off, but that may not be possible for you. So then you go to your programs here, and down to Fanuc, robotics, and pick RoboGuide. And there's my first work cell that I created. And I did that several weeks ago. But if you want to do a new one, then you go down here and you click on New Cell. And we're going to do Handling Pro. Next. And you can call it, I'm going to do just Test Cell 1. And do Next, and create robot with a default Handling Pro config. Say Next, and pick this top controller here. That way, if you share with me, I can open them up, and we're all on the same controller, and it don't tell me it was created with something I don't have. So create that one. And then your tool will set EOAT later. And then the robot that we use here is the LRMate 2000 or 200 ID/4S. LRMate 200 ID/4S. 4S. That's the same as the robots we have in the classroom. So we click next, and we just go through that next. I think it says in the lab, don't worry about loading any of that stuff. Just go next. And then it gives you a screen there to verify everything. Just hit finish. And it goes through the process of loading up. And there we go. So over the next few weeks, you're going to be learning how to manipulate this. If you hold your control key down and your shift key down and your mouse, left mouse click, control key, you can slide it all around. Shift key, oh, you don't have to do the shift key, I'm sorry. You can just hold your left or right mouse button down and you can move it all around. Use your mouse scroll key and scroll in and out. So I'm holding control and right mouse button and getting it here and scroll in. So if we click on the old little ball on the end, and then if you click and hold your left mouse down, then you can move the robot around where you want to in each of the axes. Oops. It didn't like that. So, and again, you can just like you do with the real robots, if you bring up your teach pennant, and I did that by clicking on the little teach pennant icon up there on the toolbar, and we can jog the robot just like we do in the real world. Oh, I want to put that in world mode. And you don't actually, on this, you don't actually have to click the shift button, because if you jog, it will automatically put the shift button for you. Why isn't my robot moving? Do I have a fault of some sort? Yeah, I guess I had a fault. Oh, it's in, remember the question, it says motion-023 in singularity. Remember how to get that out of singularity. Here's a good, what they call teachable moment. It says to move the, it's the y-axis, or axis number 5. It's the y rotational. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. So I don't know if it'll let me, if I had to drag it and move it, but it should. Okay, it's not letting me move it like that, so I'm going to have to do it like this, maybe. Let me get around here. Let's see if that did anything for me. It's still stuck out there straight, so there it goes. I got that. It's all whipped around there now. But let me see if I can jog it. Oh, again. So let's see if we can jog in X here. Now it's moving. Okay. So there we go. So again, so that's how you jog it. So you've got several labs to do with this, and we've got, Joe made some pretty good videos actually on how to do the labs. I'm going to go over that here in a minute, but anyway, so that's just a basic way you get started with RoboGuide. And when you get your lab, if you do your lab on here at home and you get it done and you want to save it, if you go up here to File and do Backup Cell, and it says Backup Cell Test Cell 1, so I hit that, and so it backs it up. Now, you want to send that file to me, submit that on the my IV. So now you got to go over here and open your my IV and do this on the remote desktop, not on your own computer. And now we're going to go into my IV. I think you ended up having to log in twice to this. So and again, we're in a holding pattern as the little ones and zeros fly back and forth between my computer and Ivy Tech server and computer. So here we are. And now, see, I got to go into Ivy Learning. It's probably going to ask me to log in again. Yep. I don't know why it does that on this. No, I'm not going to stay in because I don't want to put my login on that computer. So now we're going to go to our first lab. And I'll go to student view here. And I'm going to go to modules. And then we're going to roll down here to module number 10. And look at the lab here. Well, no, module 10, that lab there, L10, we have to do in the class because you've got to back up the robot, the actual robot, to your jump drive and then load it onto RoboGuide. So we're going to go through that. So we have to do this lab at the school. You can't really do this one at home. But any of the others you can do at home. So let's go down here to Lab 11, create a work cell with a part and fixture. So I started that lab by creating the work cell, but I didn't add the part and fixture. So I'm going to go open that lab up, and says new attempt because I think I already opened this once. And now I can do the lab, and then I can upload my file. And we're going to choose the file here. And those files will be under your documents and work cell backup. You see that? So if you go to documents, work cell backup. And there it is. And I just hit that and open it. And then submit my assignment. So when you do your labs, if you want to do them at home and submit them like that, you can. It wasn't too bad. So that is that. What else? I think I've covered everything. Oh, yeah. We need to look. I'm going to go ahead and get out of the student desktop. And I want to, let me see here. I've got so many things open. I want to drag over. We're going to go back into our courses. Oh, I'm on student view. Let me get, well, I'm going to stay in student view. And in your modules for RoboGuide, I put, go down here to module 10 again. I added the RoboGuide video tutorials in there that Joe made. And so if you go there, you've got quite a few videos there that show you how to do everything that you have to do in the labs. So you can watch those because there's supposed to be some kind of book or manual, which evidently we don't have access to. It says something about it being available in the spring of 2020. There would be an ebook, but evidently that whatever was going to happen with that got lost in the COVID lockdown stuff. So anyway, there's that, those RoboGuide video tutorials to help you know how to do those. And again, if you come into school, I'll be helping you and going through this stuff as well. Let's go back. I did put one other thing, and I just have one video on this, but I got RoboGuide YouTube videos, and I'm going to add some more to this, but this one would be your main lab on how you set up the pick and place robot. So he's going to show you how to put the part on the work cell and a table and a conveyor, and how to set up your tool. It's kind of extensive, and the problem is some parts he goes so fast, so you have to pause it and rewind it. But it is a good video. He does show you how, and that's watching this video is how I learned how to use RoboGuide quite a bit. It got me on the way, so you might want to watch this one all the way through. And it's how long is this thing? It's like 35 minutes, 36 minutes long. So, but it's well worth your time to go through it and try to build the work cell as he does, if you can. So, I guess that's it for this one. I probably went longer than I intended to. So, let's recap here. I'll bring up. So we did the RoboGuide demo. Showed you how to access a remote desktop. We went over the calendar. Kind of went through a step-by-step of all the modules that you're going to have to cover, the final exam, the certification exams that we're doing. Remember, SACA 216 test will be activated, and you'll take that when you come to the lab this week on Monday and Wednesday. And then we'll do a simple RoboGuide lab to get you started. And then we'll finish up doing some more RoboGuide labs the next week. And then the final week, again, no labs, and you have that time to focus on taking that Fanuc certification, finishing the final exam, and catching up any other work that you missed to help your grade. So that's it. I'll see you all Monday and Wednesday. Have a good rest of the weekend.